Howdy folks, today is Wednesday, September 3rd. It is 6:30 p.m. and the temperature right now is around 23 degrees Celsius, and I'm here just north of the intersection of Yonge and Bloor. On a very nice weekday evening. And there is a look up at the soon-to-be super tall Yonge Bloor West. And this is the intersection of Yonge and Bloor straight ahead. But for this one, I'm going to attempt to make my way down to First Canadian Place in the financial district. But for the most part, I'll be avoiding major streets, at least heading north-south, following a very similar route to a video I recorded back in the end of December in 2020. So that's a look south down Yonge Street.
Just in case they don't have fiber one bars in the US.
So this will be mostly laneways and side streets. Although this could be a pretty major street, or could be considered, being Bloor Street West in the Yorkville neighborhood. And if I can remember to, I'll try to drop an interesting tidbit or two on each of these side streets and laneways I take. There's Holt Renfrew across the street, and this stretch is known as the Mink Mile. Well, Bloor Street was named after Joseph Bloor, and he actually founded the village of Yorkville. This area is known for its luxury shopping and international flagship stores. We're going to be heading south here on Balmudo. Walking alongside the Manulife Center. Apparently this street was named after Alan MacDonald of Balmudo. He was a Scottish estate owner. And on the right in the Manulife Center there's a Cineplex Odeon, but just on the left used to be the backside of the old Uptown Theater that fronted Yonge Street. That was demolished back in 2003. Now it's home to a number of towering condos. And we've still got about an hour of daylight left. And for the most part, I'll be following parallel to Yonge Street, which is just to the left. This is Charles Street coming up. I did a walk along Charles Street a few weeks ago. That one takes its name from Charles McGill. The son of an early landowner in the city, John McGill. No worries. And at the western end of the street, which is to the right, is part of the University of Toronto St. George campus. And it runs into the Church Wellesley Village to the left. And there is St. Nicholas Street. Our next target, also the Okonomi House, is right there. They serve up some excellent okonomiyaki. I'm just wondering if I can get through this way. No, it looks like there's a gate right there. Oh well, we came this far. Maybe there's a path through this way. I was planning on going over to that lane. Hey, what do you know? It's one way to carry your furniture. That's George Faluti Place, honoring a Hungarian-Canadian poet. But we're going to turn right here onto St. Nicholas Street. And I believe this is St. Mary Street. I believe it was named after a church in the area that was called St. Nicholas Church. That dates back to the 1800s. This has been a popular filming area in the past. I've seen a few film crews set up here. I think these interlocking brick or cobblestone streets have something to do with it. But let's check out Cottage Lane here. And this was originally lined with workers' cottages. In the early 19th century. Now it's home to Bert, Ernie, and the Kool-Aid Man. And a strong smell of garlic. On the right, you have the back sides of some Victorian homes, and on the left, properties that front Yonge Street. I don't think I've seen this artwork before. If it weren't for all the garbage, I would say that's quite nice. But yikes. This is Irwin Avenue. And it's back to St. Nicholas Street. Oh, there's some more artwork, quite similar to the naturey one we just walked past down that alleyway. And straight ahead I can see the patio for Barvolo, which used to be located on Yonge Street. They have a sister location in Little Italy. As we cross St. Joseph Street, that's an excellent spot. It doesn't quite have the same vibe as their original location. And coming up is Wellesley Street West. So I said I was going to try to avoid as many major streets as possible, but going east-west, it's going to be hard to do that. Wellesley Street was named after Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington. He was famous for defeating Napoleon. And just off in that direction is Yonge Street, and just beyond that is Wellesley Station. But we'll cut south through what I think is Dr. Lillian McGregor Park. Yeah, I think that's what the sign says. I've gotten that name wrong before. And when I recorded that walk back in 2020, this wasn't open yet. This was just a big old construction zone. I could go that way. We're going to be making our way over to St. Luke Lane. This is Breadalbin Street. Pronounced Breadalbin. We'll make a right on the St. Luke Lane and take that all the way down to College. Actually could have taken this from Wellesley Street down. There's a look at the bit I missed. parked food truck. So I believe this street was named, or Laneway, was named after a church as well, St. Luke's. And there is a provincial government office where you'll often see OPP vehicles parked in front. In fact, there's one right there parked in front. This is a nice vantage point with the Ora Tower splitting this canyon straight ahead. These are the type of side streets and laneways you don't really get in New York City a whole lot. In fact, there's only a few in all of Manhattan. There's sort of that old movie trope of being dragged into an alleyway and things being extra dangerous there, but ironically, there's not a whole lot of that to be found in New York. I don't know if you could hear that guy howling, but it's a little bit behind me. Don't think I'm going to spin around and point the camera at him. There's someone taking a leak, it looks like. Yeah, I bet he didn't think he'd be caught on camera doing that. So this is College Street. We're going to be on College for a little bit. College Park right across the street. And unfortunately, that's going to mean walking directly into the sun. Fran's Diner on the right. So we're going to go just west of Bay Street. There's Pogue Mahone across the street, a popular bar. But College Street takes its name from King's College, which is now known as the University of Toronto. I think the most famous neighborhood, or well-known on College, is Little Italy, which is just to the west of Bathurst, just outside of downtown. It also runs right along the north end of Chinatown, as well as the popular Kensington Market neighborhood. Right, we're at Bay Street. So we're gonna go south here. Or at least to the south side of the street. I'll be making a left at La Plante. Not sure exactly how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I also have a nice pack too.
Not see, well, there's a street sign for it, La Plante Avenue, but it is being blocked by that banner there. It's not very good placement of that. There's a Canadian Blood Services vehicle. This street was named after a French-Canadian family. It's a rather short street. It's only a few blocks long and it terminates at Gerrard Street just to the south of here. And it seems to be dominated by parking garages. There's a number of major hospitals, 4 of them in fact, just west of here, which is to the right. There's Sick Kids, Toronto General, on the east side of University Avenue, and you have Mount Sinai and Princess Margaret on the other side of University. But we'll make a right at Gerrard and then a left onto Elizabeth Street. Just hang drying some towels on the street. Tall building in the corner is on the northwest corner of Dundas and University. And tomorrow the Toronto International Film Festival kicks off. I'm sure at some point, perhaps even tomorrow, I'll make a video through there. I'll probably live stream around the area at some point as well. This is Gerrard Street, named after, I'm trying to recall, I think Samuel Gerrard. He was a banker and merchant from Quebec. Probably Montreal.
Right now.
Playing right. I was just running around in a car.
You can see the hospitals right there. As we start to go south on Elizabeth Street. walking past the world-renowned Sick Kids Hospital. Apparently this street was named after Elizabeth Russell, sister not of Russell Peters, but of Peter Russell, who played an early role
right here is bad and the left
back in the Upper Canada days in government. We're going to make a right here onto Elm Street. Seems as if Sick Kids Hospital is always undergoing some kind of renovation or massive development project. This is Elm Street. There's the YWCA on the left. Don't ask me what it is. This street takes its name from the elm trees that used to grow in the area. And it runs from Yonge Street to just west of University Avenue, straight ahead. We're gonna head south here, and I think this is actually officially part of Chestnut Street, if I'm not mistaken. They are blocking off the street here. Doesn't seem to be for a movie shoot. It's probably due to the construction. And because of those hospitals, this area kind of always feels a bit like a black hole in the heart of downtown. There's not a whole lot of street life, and what street life you get is kind of on the generic and bland side. Obviously the hospitals are a necessity. It's not a knock, just an observation. But we're going to take Chestnut Street here pretty much all the way down to Nathan Phillips Square. There's the old Toronto coach terminal, which closed down several years ago and was relocated just south of here in the South Core district. And the main building there is a really nice old Art Deco building. I believe the redevelopment plans will preserve the facade. The actual bus terminal itself was kind of a dump, if you ever had the misfortune of traveling through there. Is this some kind of TikTok video in the making? Yep. And we're at Dundas Street West, named after the abolitionist Henry Dundas. That's really all you need to know about this street. All right. I waved as if to say, wait for me, and they took that as a go ahead. Maybe I shouldn't have. That stretch was known as Little Tokyo.
We'll invite you to.
There's the Doubletree Hotel. I've told this story on the channel before during a live stream. I have kind of a ridiculous story behind this hotel. I had a friend who was going to spend a few nights in Toronto with a kid, and they wanted to stay in a hotel that had an indoor pool, and the DoubleTree had an indoor pool. They couldn't find out online or not if the pool was heated. It was the winter time. So I was like, I don't know, just call the hotel. And they asked if I could for them, so we called the hotel. And you don't get a receptionist at that hotel. You get someone working in a call center. I guess they just centralized all their phone operations. And they did not know if the pool was heated. And I'm like, well, can you find out? And after putting me on hold for about 20 minutes, no, they could not find out if they had a heated pool at the hotel they were representing and answering the phone for. It's the epitome of absurd. All these cost-cutting measures are definitely not for the better. I guarantee you, if someone at the front desk of that hotel picked up, they would have been able to answer, and they might have been able to snag a new guest or customer. There's a brand new provincial courthouse. It's the Ontario Court of Justice. As this leads us into Nathan Phillips Square. I guess since we're here, we'll swing through Nathan Phillips Square itself. We'll walk past the Eternal Flame. There's New City Hall just on the left. And the old City Hall straight ahead. This was named after Toronto's mayor, Nathan Phillips, who was mayor between 1955 and 1962. That building opened in 1965. I think it remains to be seen what will happen with Old City Hall. Obviously, the building will be preserved. But with the new courts, it no longer serves that function. There's the financial district in the backdrop. And the second iteration of the Toronto sign. The then mayor at the time proclaimed it was identical to the first one, which went up for the Pan Am Games, but it was not designed to be a permanent installation. So this new sign was designed to be more permanent, to withstand our nasty weather in the winter. If you do a side-by-side comparison, you'll notice the font on this one is a little bit less playful and a little more businesslike. It's grown on me since there's really been no other choice, but I quite prefer the look of the old sign. I think someone should have done a copy and paste job rather than change things. And there's always food trucks to be seen along this stretch of Queen Street. Or Lot Street, as it was originally known, LOT. It was renamed after Queen Victoria in the 1830s. And you can take this walkway over to the brutalist Sheridan Center, but you won't be able to get into the Sheridan Center. Brutalism in all its glory. It's quite the contrast from Osgood Hall across the street. We're going to be going south here on York Street for a block. Looks like I just missed the light cycle. There's the Four Seasons Center for the Performing Arts across the street. And another brutalist hotel, the Hilton. And just behind that is the Shangri-La. And we've entered the financial district. York Street takes its name from the Duke of York. He was the son of King George III. Cuts right through the financial district and goes south all the way down to Queens Quay at the lakefront. And here is Richmond Street, a one-way street. We're going to go east on it for a little bit. Which for the next 3 years or so will be home to the 501 Queen streetcar, as well as diverted 504 streetcars. Whenever that line gets interrupted, at least for the stretch through the financial district, that's due to Ontario Line construction up on Queen Street. But believe it or not, this one was named after the Duke of Richmond. He was also the Governor General of Canada, I think for just a year, back in 1818. It used to be a popular nightlife area to the west of here. And there used to be a popular bar called Three Brewers on the other side of that complex. That was a victim of the pandemic restrictions. And this is Shepherd Street, not to be confused with Shepherd Avenue coming up. It's just a very short street. That was historically lined with very modest housing. remember watching this condo in the center of the shot go up when I worked in that building straight ahead. I was up over the 50th floor. Had a hell of a view of downtown from there. But the financial district eventually shifted west from the St. Lawrence neighborhood area. There was a great fire in the 1800s that kind of cleared that area out. So big office towers started to invade.
But like, then they're gonna have to.
I just spent a lot of time on the law school side of things.
There is a building just shy of being a super tall. That will soon lose its status as being the tallest in the country. As we get to Adelaide Street, and this used to be a pub here. I see the score of the J game. I think I saw Cincinnati 2, Jays 0. Who earns to that? There's the Cactus Club. But we've arrived. I hope you enjoyed this one. Do let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way, as a 501 Queen Street car goes by eastbound on Adelaide, which is also serving as a temporary diversion from the Queen Street cars. For the Queen Street cars. Anyways, I think I'm going to live stream now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink!